Other than that, really just been chilling. You watched the NBA finals?
Man, look, I don't even be watching basketball or TV for real. So,
You know, no TV.
nah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even with all this different stuff going on, it's been hard to even catch up on it. And the LA time is crazy too, because I was really from New York, but like being in LA, just getting used to like the times and stuff, like football coming on at 10 a.m. on Sundays, and then like basketball games starting at like 6 or 5 when I'm not even done with work yet. So it's like I feel like since working here and doing this, you got to like really be dedicated to watching the stuff if you're gonna do it for real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I used to be into it. You feel me? But it's been picked up so much with the music. So
yeah,
I don't really be making beats or something with music. I'm asleep.
yeah, yeah. Well, I guess we get into it. Producer Academy, powered by Producer Culture. One of the first very, very special guests in the building. One of the hottest, if not potentially the hottest producer out right now. Forever Rolling. Excited to have you on. What's going on, man?
Forever rolling.
So that was you, bro, man. I'm straight.
What do you got going on?
Man, just working, man. Just trying to get these placements going. It's really it.
Yeah, definitely getting the placements going, but sick. Congratulations. EST Gee project finally out. 10 out of 15 on there. Executive produced. Forever Rolling. And the craziest thing is not even having 10 of the 15 on there. How many guys you didn't help get on there and they got a placement on there thanks to you or whatever, whether it's, like Juke Wong with Lickback or, NFE Paris I was talking to. He's just super appreciative and thankful. So super,
No, for
super cool
sure.
to give a lot of those guys, opportunity on there, definitely.
And they kind of been around from the beginning, so, it's gonna stay around with the same people I came in with. It's kind of like how I like to do stuff.
Yeah, all home
Yeah.
team. But yeah, obviously the project is, going crazy right now, asking Siri the #1 album in the world. You know what you're going to hear when you ask. What was part of the process like just going into that project specifically? How long you been working on it and what was kind of that process like?
I mean, really, G, he just really just like recorded a lot of music, you feel me? So it's he's been doing like booked up a whole bunch. So just I already know what he liked to rap on, like the bounce and all that. So it's just easy to just send beats off. We've been around each other for so long. So it's not like hard for me. I know if I send him beats, like I know he'll like at least like 5 out of like 10 if I send them or him, something like that. So it's
Yeah.
not really hard as far as the chemistry with us.
Speaking of sending beats or whatever, how do you normally send it? I know you and him might have a different process than you would when somebody else asks for a pack, but do you
Yeah.
mostly do like Dropbox sending, text MP3s, hitting the email, or what's kind of like the Forever Rolling formula on that?
I mean, honestly, like the best way. I mean, I like just like texting them to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I know if I text them to you, like you can heart what you know what I'm saying, like what you like, you can like it on the phone. So it's like a lot easier, you know what I'm saying, versus emailing. Like I don't know what you might use. It's a hassle like going through that process.
Yeah, definitely. I would say too, people always send me drop boxes to send out this and that, whatever. Every placement that I've ever helped get for somebody or when I sent it or whatever, 90% of the time it's been because I've texted an MP3. Um,
Yeah,
I wouldn't say I never didn't send a Dropbox or this or that. And I guess this even goes into like the bigger thing of like producer etiquette or whatever, but like, especially when people send in these files that you got to click download and go through and all that, I feel like more oftentimes than not, that's just all getting skipped.
yeah, and I'm not sending no more than if I'm texting, I'm not gonna send no more than like 10, 15 at the most. You know what I mean? I don't want to like oversaturate because people are not gonna go through like 20 beats, 30 beats most of the time.
But yeah, back to G. I mean, obviously the project is going up, but anybody who knows anything knows that you and G been locked in since the beginning. There's been
No,
a whole lot of G projects out that's executive produced Forever Rolling, so this is nothing new. How did that kind of initial click up happen? You guys start working from the start.
really he was locked up at the time, so like I was still making beats, but like when he got out, we were going to the same studio. So it's just like it just made sense. You know what I'm saying? Like I was the only one making beats. He was like getting beats from YouTube. You feel what I'm saying? And then like had like maybe a few other producers from Texas, but we just were like really just like locked in. You know what I'm saying? It just really just like made sense. We were the only two up there like there every day. Or if I was there, I was calling them to come up there and record. You know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of how like we built the relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it just makes sense for sure. I mean, speaking of that, where's kind of like the Forever Rolling origins? Where are you from? How did it all start off for you producing wise?
Really just like I play drums and stuff like that. So it's just like I always been around music, but it's like 2012, so that's right when I like graduated high school, just like making beats and trying to lock in with artists, you know what I'm saying? I had locked in like two other artists before G, you feel me? And like G was just the one that like we just like really clicked off, you know what I'm saying? Just no brainer, you feel what I'm saying? You know, every day, you know, I pull up a beat and like he was rapping on it. It wasn't like we were just like going through a ton of beats. It was like I was making it, he was rapping on it. So it was just like how it just came about.
Yeah, definitely. It's been crazy to just watch the whole, just the whole a year from now, a year ago to today as like a complete 360 when it comes to, what was going on, or 180, I guess.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
it comes to, just his name ringing, whatever. I feel like it's been around, but now he's the one right now. Like he's
yeah.
definitely the one. And it's really cool that, you're kind of the groom and sound behind that. You mentioned something interesting when it comes to you always kind of been around music, playing drums and shit. Is that you think that gives you an advantage? Because I'm always, when somebody is like super talented and successful producer wise, and they tell me that they've been around music for forever, they used to play in the band or do drums or this and that, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But then it's some other producers that they've known nothing except FL or whatever they're using, and they don't even know how to read music or anything like that. So do you think that gives you an advantage, or at this point, does it really matter?
Nah, not really. I mean, you know, like you can, you know, still play instruments and not know how to like arrange music or, you know, drum cadences and stuff. You know, it's a lot different, like putting a whole song together. You know what I mean? So it don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people, like a lot of loop makers, don't play piano or no instrument. They just got the ear. I
Yeah,
think that's really all that matters. Like period in music. So it's like if you got the ear, like you can get it done.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, I mean those beginning days producing for you, how did it? What was like the beginning when it went from you playing the drums to you downloading the first whatever on your laptop to really start cooking it up? Like, kind of take us back to that time. What was going on back then, and like those first ever forever rolling beats that were going on.
I mean, really, like I never had a tag. You know what I'm saying? So it was just making beats. You know, trying to figure it out, handing out. You know, CDs were popular, live mixtapes. So just handing out beat CDs and pulling up to studios, just like the regular, honestly. And there's not a lot of studios in Louisville, Kentucky. You feel me? So there's only so many you can go to, and it was already like big dogs. You know what I'm saying, in my city. So it was, they already had like stuff going on. So people weren't trying to buy beats. So hear what I had going on for real back then. You know what I mean? Maybe like for like those two people I was working with at first. So it was like really, you know, when I tapped in with G, you know, it was like I had just got the tag. You know, I got the tag and just locked in, bro. It was just literally, yeah, it was simple as that, for real, for real.
Yeah. No, I definitely want to get back to the tag in a minute, but when you said you were just kind of like pulling up to the studio at first, figuring it out, at that point, you had already been making beats for some time though, right? Before you pulled up for the very first time.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, you know, trying to get a feel for it, you know, it's basically, you know, I felt like I could, you know, people could rap on them, you know. I
Yeah.
felt like my beats were good enough for people to rap on. So it was just trying to like, all right, who's popping in my city to rap? Try to get them to get on it. You know, it's just simple, you know. And Louisville, like I said, it's not a big, you know, it's not a big city at all. So it's only so many people rapping. You know what I'm saying? And you got Jack too. You know what I'm saying? Like Jack was definitely popping in the city. You know what I'm saying? So like it was, I was definitely like trying to get to beats, you know, beats to Jack too back then for sure, for sure. But like he already had like his set producers at the time, and you know other big artists. You know what I'm saying? That was in the city like had they set producers. So definitely a hassle. You know what I'm saying? It ain't easy from Louisville. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Especially if you're not networking and traveling or doing none of that. That
yeah,
plays a big part in networking.
no, for sure. That's definitely a huge part. And I mean, speaking on the Jack piece, like definitely congrats and shout out to, a lot of the guys that's been on the Jack stuff, Genius Level,
Facts.
Ronnie.
Facts.
Ronnie got a few on the EST Gee
Shout out Ronnie
project.
Luciano for sure.
Yeah,
That's
shout out
my
Ronnie
man.
for sure. That's my guy. Off some collabs with you, but I
Yeah.
think that's definitely a super important like piece to it as well. Like you had put in the work and knew what you were doing on like on a technical side with you being able to make the product, which is the beat.
Yeah.
But for a lot of producers, in my opinion, they basically stop the process there and then they figure out how to do it on the internet, which for some of them it works and some of them, but I personally think the way that you did it, like you were damn near your own street team back then, like pushing your own product, pushing your brand day in and day out. And I
Yeah.
definitely think you're never going to be like a super producer or an actual producer unless you're doing it that way. Otherwise, you'd probably just be a beat maker who ends up on, the other side of a lot of them. But I definitely think too, you can make a lot of stuff happen just going with that internet route. And I think a good example of that is how many popular overseas producers have never even been to America and they continue catching cut after cut after cut on all these big things. So it's definitely a few ways you could go at it, but the way you did it is super special for sure.
Nah, for sure, for sure. It's a lot, so it's a few loop makers, when I first moved to the A like 2 years ago that, I'm still tapped in with, right now, you know what I'm saying? I shout out, Noir, who else? I got Baru, Baru, he's pretty solid. Audio Vista, it's a couple guys is like solid dudes that I really mess with just from overseas for sure. Like Noir is like one of the he's special, he play like real instruments and crazy sound.
Yeah, great. A lot of the overseas loop market right now is crazy. There's a few of them that every day I'm getting at least 5, 10, 3 loops in my email every day. No ifs, ands, or buts. It doesn't matter what's going on. It could be Christmas Day. It could be whatever. I'm getting them and they're there.
It's different.
Yeah, super. Everybody at this point in time wants an EST Gee placement. Everybody wants to work with them. Everybody this, everybody that. Speaking of loop makers,
Yeah.
I'm sure you're getting 9 million loops sent to you from all different directions. Dropbox links and Instagram, emails to this, text to your phone, whatever. Like you said, you definitely appreciate, the loop makers and the sample makers, and you work with a lot of them, which you shouted out, which is super cool. But what are some of like the don'ts when it comes to loops? Because I know the way some people send me them, they're gonna get skipped. But for you, what are some of kind of like the do's and don'ts when it comes to like, oh yeah, I'll listen to this and give it a chance because it was formatted this way versus, yeah, bro, this is not happening. I'm skipping to the next one.
Is don't send the same stuff. Like, don't, like me and Flex, like guy got Flex on the beat. You like, if you sending me and him the same loops, like I'm just gonna stop opening the loops because at this point it's just like, what if we use the same loop and we didn't collab on the beat? Like I don't like that. I should send it exclusive because if we locked in, I'm gonna use it, and especially if they fire, it's like listen to the sound too. Listen to what I make. Like if you don't send me R&B stuff if you ain't heard me making R&B stuff for real. You know what I mean? Like listen to who I make beats for. You feel me?
Yeah, so it seems obvious, but it's definitely a lot of people just kind of sending through whatever and doing it that
Yeah.
way. Yeah,
It's like if you're trying to like get placements and stuff like that, like tap in with the loop makers who's like getting the placements.
yeah,
Like reach out to them, like try to collab with them. Like that's like easier the way you get to it instead of like spamming and all that. Cause I'm definitely not gonna like the requests just be crazy.
right.
And the approach,
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty crazy now that it was an era of like a loop maker catching a passive placement with a producer. Like they send the loop, producer adds whatever to it, producer gets it to the artist, whatever. But now it's even another one that you just kind of alluded to, which is like so-and-so sends the starter to the loop maker who's connected to the producer who's connected to the artist. So
Yeah,
it's just crazy. Like, say, who knows when it'll go a layer bigger than that and keep going that way. You know what I mean? But shout out to all the loop makers getting it, man. There's a bunch of them out there that you see them on damn near every single project.
yeah.
That's insane for sure. Back to the tag. You had mentioned earlier, for a while there, you didn't have a tag. You were just kind of doing it. Once you started throwing the tag on everything, stamping that as you, that's when you and G really started first locking in. How did the tag come about? Was it forever? Was it always Forever Rolling? Was it something different before? And kind of walk us through that.
It's like I just my name before like it was just like Jeff Rowland. So I didn't have no tag. I didn't want to have like no woman's voice or nothing. You feel what I'm saying? So, like the studio we was going to at the time, you know what I'm saying? It was the artist I was working with. He was in the song he had said, you feel me? I took that from the song and put it in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? It was on a record that we had together, you feel what I'm saying? And I just changed my name on IG and just start putting that in the beginning of every beat, you feel what I'm saying? It just started catching, you know what I mean? Especially like in the city. So it's like I knew I had something for sure. Everybody just kept telling, it's super catchy, it's catchy. And
Yeah, it's
people
definitely.
started saying it and it just caught on. And that
Yeah.
was around like El Toro, like Die Bloody El Toro, you know what I'm saying, with G. It was around the time like I'm saying we got that in and it just took off, you know what I mean? You just kept hearing it, and especially from my city, wasn't nobody was like producing like a whole body of work. It was just like every song is just produced by you with a tag.
Mhm.
So it's just like super different, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, the tag is crazy for sure, and it's definitely unique and it's yours. A lot of people now kind of have similar tags, whether it's because they're going to the same place or whatever to get the tag, but
Yeah.
yours is definitely unique. And bro, we've been in the studio before, sitting there, people start falling asleep, you hear the tag right back up like it's nothing. It'll catch you by surprise if you're not paying attention.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you usually throw the tag on at the end.
So it's like sometimes it just depends, you know what I'm saying, on how the record comes on, you know what I mean? Like I know with G, I can put it anywhere and it ain't gonna be an issue.
Yeah.
He's gonna rap right over it. And then some people like the engineer might put it at the end or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it don't really be like an issue.
Right. I actually meant like that's like the final part of your process, throwing the tag back on wherever you end up doing it. So in the
Oh yeah. Yep. That's yeah, once I get the beat arranged, that's it. I'll just throw the tag on there, you know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. That's when you'll catch whoever in the studio sitting there. They don't know what's coming. Boom, and then everybody's
Yeah,
up and they're
for
active for
sure.
sure after that. So what are some of the stuff like you've obviously been through? You know, different this, different that, ups and downs, obviously, as everybody does, but you're at a point now where you have a bunch of experience both in studio with this artist, with that artist, sending stuff out as well. Any like kind of like cheat codes, like stuff that you wish you would have known back before that would have been helpful, if you knew now what you knew back then, anything like that kind of, stuff advice you would give to like your younger self.
Man, it's just know the business. That's all. Just figure out the business. If you know how to make beats, know the business, know how you get paid, know where the money's coming from. You feel what I'm saying? That's really like the most important part. Like if you want to like have a good career and you really just want to focus on music, you want to make sure you got financial freedom. So I just feel like as a producer, we don't do shows and stuff. So if you got financial freedom, you don't have to worry about, your finances. Like
Mhm.
you can just focus strictly on music and making beats. And that's like a big part of it, you know what I'm saying? Is not having like stress, you know what I'm saying? Like making sure like the bills is paid, you know what I'm saying? Or working a job. You feel what I'm saying? 12 hours a day. If you're working 12-hour shifts at a job, it's gonna be a lot harder on you, you know what I'm saying? If you come home and you want to make beats too, because you're gonna have to be right back up.
Right.
It's just different, just the dedication, bro, how bad do you want it? I was sleeping in the studio, going home for 4 hours and then going right back to the studio. You feel what I'm saying? Telling my mom I had a job, you feel, I'm going to the studio. So you
That's
just
for
gotta
sure.
really be, you gotta really be like dedicated for real, for real.
Yeah.
Then you gotta be willing to, not have no bread. Like, how bad do you want it? I went years without getting paid. You know what I'm saying? But I knew it was a bigger picture. You feel me? The back end's gonna be way better.
Right.
That's what I tell all the loop makers
Everybody.
and everybody I work with. Like, the advances be cool, but like that back end, the publishing money is definitely gonna be where it's at for sure.
No, that's where it's at for sure. And that's what I always try to teach everybody. Back in 2014 or whatever year it was, I downloaded Cracked Out Logic. I tried to get to it. I could not figure that shit out. I was about to throw my laptop out the window, but it all just kind of fell into place where it's supposed to be. And that's when, I really got more into like the collecting side, the royalty collection side, putting the producers on what's going on. But Roland is definitely somebody who's made it his business to, learn the ins and outs of all the different stuff. Like you said, where the money's coming from, learning how the royalties are generated, this versus that, what really goes into advance, publishing, admin versus co-pub, whatever. Roland's definitely done that. And a lot of producers have told me, or they're saying like, it's not my job to think about that. Like, I have this manager and it's this, that. Bro, he the hottest producer out right now. He knows the ins and outs. He made it his job to learn that. So, you got one placement on YouTube with 100,000 views. That's great, but you can learn it too if he's taking the time to learn it, and it's definitely super important.
No, for sure.
You can make money off your music for forever. The song might not always be hot for forever. The artist might not be making music for forever, but you can make money off of your music for forever. So like I said, if Roland's somebody who's taking the time to educate himself, figure it out, you definitely have enough time to figure it out yourself as well.
No, for sure. It's easy.
Other than that, I'm sure you and G got, hella records in the cut, tons of unreleased stuff. What's some stuff coming up that you're excited about that you got in the works?
Honestly, man, it's a lot. It be so much stuff, man. It's like I don't even be knowing what I be having coming out until it come out.
Well, we know one,
I got a Tory Kodak record coming out.
Yeah, the Shout Out Create Music Group fan.
Yeah, for sure. I can't forget about that one. Shout out Tory, man. He's solid for sure.
Speaking of that, I'm sure, how did that kind of come about? Tory and his team reach out to you, Tory directly, and you sent it, you get in the studio with them, or what was that process like?
Man, really, it was just Tory had DM me, just like I was on fire. He was like, he needed a pack. So it was just like I had sent over a pack and just kind of like built a relationship with him. I just been sending beats over to him ever since, really.
I'm sure that's not like a one-time thing. I'm sure it's a lot of artists hitting you, trying to catch that sound. It's definitely the hottest sound out right now. So I'm sure it's a lot of people hitting you. One of the hottest sounds out right now. I'm sure it's a lot of people hitting you, tapping in. What's that process been like? Anybody who's like, if you want to disclose it, like one of like the craziest ones that hit you, been like, damn, I can't believe so-and-so. I was just in my mom's basement listening to him a few years ago.
No, for sure. It was like I think when I got to tap in with Cardo, for sure. It was just like I didn't even know who it was at first until I really looked at my DM. Then I thought it was fake. It's so many spam pages.
Right.
It's definitely somebody like, when I was coming up, I was definitely listening like Wiz and a lot of producers like that, Sledgerin, you know what I'm saying? Sledgerin was Sledgerin. We done tapped in with Sledgerin, got some crazy stuff with Sledgerin. So just like producers like that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. Cardo for sure a legend. I've never really gotten to work with him hands-on or anything, but I did get to chop it up with him quickly back when like the heart of quarantine during COVID and when Clubhouse was at like its peak.
Oh yeah.
I was randomly in this room, and the producer rooms on Clubhouse would start adding up pretty quick. You would get one person in, another person in, me join, then three people that like I'll be working with join, and then you would have this producer join, and then he had his 5-6 people that watching him, following him. So I remember one time I had my green bean in the Clubhouse room that made me the moderator, and I looked, I just saw a Cardo picture there. I'm like, same thing as you. I'm like, that's Cardo for real right there. Brought him up right away, slapped the thing on him, and then we were just in there chopping it up for hours. That was one of the long nights where he was just kind of telling everybody about everything you got going on. And it's
Yeah.
super crazy, just like you, to hear like the initial stories, because so many people are, you know, so obsessed with looking at the final result, which is EST Gee project #1 right now. Roland got 10 out of 15 on there. They don't think about all that other stuff that went into getting to that point, which was, like you said, pulling up to the studio, not sure what was going on, calling him, trying to figure it out, no bread, whatever. So it's really cool to kind of hear about the process when it comes to a lot of those people, for sure.
Now for sure, it's just like I tell a lot of producers, man, just the best way is just to lock in on like an artist, you know what I mean? 'Cause it's hard to get to like these big artists, you know what I mean? But if you lock in with an artist and y'all start making noise and you just really focus, like those artists will eventually start reaching out to you. And that's just what's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, you know what I'm saying, that I've been trying to get to is just reaching out.
Yeah.
Or managers are reaching out, or you know what I'm saying, some way, you know what I'm saying? So this is like, and I want it to be more, you want it to be more organic too. You
Right.
don't want to be like DMing people, you know what I mean? Because they're not gonna run it back.
Yeah. No, it's crazy for sure. You probably had a few of these. I've had a couple now where I get a DM from somebody and then I look and it's like I had hit them in 2018, or I had been at a show and I tagged them in my story and it's like, see, LeGret mentioned you on the story. And
Yeah,
it's like those little moments that's like, damn, this shit really working, like going
yeah,
a long way coming up.
for sure, man. So it's just gotta be focused, honestly.
Yeah,
How
definitely.
bad do you want it?
Exactly. I mean, shit, I was gonna say finish off with any inspiring words to the up and coming producers, but I feel like you done given all the game to them. I don't know if you have anything else you kind of wanna you know, let them know, little advice from you to them on, you know, as they continue to try to make their climb.
Really, like I said, just lock in with these artists, bro. And definitely collab. Like the collabing's like a big process too. You know what I'm saying? Like find you a few producers, you know what I'm saying, that you really like vibe with and just lock in with them. Y'all build a sound and just send these records out. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And get around these artists. Try to get around these artists. Because if you can't get around to the artists you want to get around to, you know, and it's artists that's around these artists already, get around them, get beats to them. You feel me? They obviously they listen to them. You know what I mean? Just gotta work your move. And engineers too. Engineers is a big part. If you can get with the engineers, it's like super easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've got like a few placements just off the back of just like knowing people's engineers, sending beats to people's engineers.
Yeah, definitely. And engineers are definitely a cheat code for sure, because
Yeah, yeah,
engineers are the ones that'll be in the studio, have the lull of we're waiting on this or that or that. They have it right there. It's like, oh, in the meantime, let me play this. All
exactly.
it takes is 2 seconds for something to get played, and the next thing you know, you're in the game.
Yeah, yeah. So it's, you know, it's, I think that's another good way too, man. But
Yeah.
just other than that, you just gotta stay down. It ain't gonna happen overnight for sure. I said that as far as like every day. I mean, I done been at it for a while, and 2019, 2018 to now. So I just imagine like what we went through from now. I mean, from there to now, like, it's a
Yeah.
whole bunch, man.
But the craziest thing to think what's going to happen between now to 2024, 2024 to 2028 is, you know, by that time, sit, you'll probably be working with whoever you want. Going, the Forever Rolling project might be coming soon. You never know.
Nah, for sure, for sure.
That's
Definitely gonna put something together.
Yeah, we definitely need that. But we appreciate you for sure. Like I said, can't say enough about Forever Rolling. One of the hottest producers out here right now for sure, making a lot of noise. EST Gee project out going crazy. Go grab that. One thing about Roland too, man, he's an amazing producer, but an even better person for sure. And you know, definitely keeps a good team around him for sure. Shout out Joe Dirt, you know, Mogul Misfits. Joe's my guy, but I need the care package. He's got all the hoodies, all the everything. I need that.
No,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, Mo Profit as well. Shout out my man Mo. Super nice with the camera. If anyone's looking at Roland Instagram, like, damn, this should look good. How's he get this, that, and third? Shout out Mo Profit. But we appreciate you coming on, man, for sure. Producer Academy, trying to give back some of the game to the up and coming producers, and who better to do it than the guy out right now. So I appreciate you big time.
I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you for real.